What's up, folks? Casual Dad here again. We have a PvP campaign that just wrapped up at the time I'm going to go ahead and post this video. But I did want to go ahead and include some information that I got from it and actually show off just a couple PvP games real quick. If you saw my last video, you may notice that when I went through all of the individual kind of standard competitive top tier decks with all of the individual warlords, right in the middle there, I did not have Grandmaster AZRAEL of the Dark Angels, which is a real bummer because he's one of my favorite warlords and one that I find particularly interesting with a really cool rule. Now, as you can see, mine is only level 3, so he definitely is not performing all that well for me right now, but this is the deck that Harry, aka Mad Emperor, the lead developer of the game, went ahead and sent me, and the one I missed yesterday. So, similar to a lot of the other ones we've seen, you start with 2 heavy hitters, expensive cards, and then you kind of fill out with support pieces. This one flexes a little bit more than most, where you've got the 35 and the 28 are split, where normally you'd see this being a single higher cost card and then a cheaper support piece. Big reason being that you do want a little extra utility. You do need to spread things out a little bit in AZRAEL decks because they have to use multiple different attack types, so your mono attackers don't necessarily benefit as much. And then notice that double Medicae is really key in these to go ahead and make sure that the cards that are getting your boosted attacks, per AZRAEL special rule, do continue to stay on the board. So this is the latter version of what they would do. My cards are okay for this. A little low, a little low, a little low. Everyone's a little low, which actually I didn't realize Mephiston was the highest of them. So secondary trait rank 2, yeah. Only 1 shield on Belial. Not even target acquired. Oh no, rank 1 target acquired on Shrike. But these guys get considerably scarier and considerably better in an AZRAEL deck as they level up. But if you have these cards at a high level, go to town. I love it. And because we are right in the middle of a synced PvP event, which is 250 deck points, aside from the normal 200, I went ahead and asked what Harry would do for that. So this is the deck I've been running, just to kind of play with it. I like to lean on the green, plus a little bit of Deathwing in there for a little extra black. Yeah, this has been really fun, really effective. One of my better decks in this PvP campaign. This has been a weird one because of the deck limit of 250 and then the level cap is kind of an odd one where it's relatively low. Like, it's high compared to a lot of the cards I have that are low level. Like my AZRAEL is 6 instead of 3. But that's still, it's definitely not a max level campaign. You're looking rank 3, rank 1. Let's see, these guys have rank 3, rank 1. Yeah, so your legendaries, everyone's kind of kept at a lower power level. So you do feel the impact of secondary traits, but not to the point where you would at a higher level. Note that your epics are dramatically higher level than your legendaries, which is always an interesting one. But, so just to look at the deck that we just had, and I did go and ask how Harry would tweak this one for the 250 deck point value, so we'll go ahead and run through that. Some of the things are going to be the same as what I had and as what he had originally. We lose this guy. Bummer, I love that guy for this. We lose this guy. So many points for Belial. And then let's see what else we had. So we had the utility piece. I believe we just added a couple pieces. Yes, there we are. Okay, yeah. So we added a couple pieces here. Who do I take out? Take out this, take out this, take out this. Man, taking out all my green boys. Take out this. And then just like we saw before, we've got... There is another one that's in here. This guy's in here. Which was a surprise. I didn't expect him to make it in there because that's just another inspiring presence. He does also have Psychic, though, so he does benefit from the modifier, the Warp Storm, so he gains additional Psychic attack, which is nice. Should have kept the 10-point guy because he is still in there, and the 15, so the double Medicae again. And then in between, we have Njal, another really, really good Space Marine piece for the current campaign. Does this fit? I don't think this fits. What am I doing wrong here? We will see. Oh, Belial's not. He took out Belial. Okay. Huh, interesting. Okay. Love to see it. We got Shrike in there for that target acquired. Then we have double Medicae and our 6-point filler. Double Medicae usually going straight to the 15 and the 10. And then we've got a 7-point hole, which pretty much means this guy for a little extra melee. Okay, so there it is. Let's go ahead and give it a whirl and see how it goes. Now, just to talk about this a bit, I have been running into a lot of Acheran, so the Psionic Blast in this deck is helpful, and I've also run into quite a bit of Call. Belisarius Call has made it an interesting day. I have been talking about that a lot to talk about. I don't have anything to share. But I will say, if you are with me to this point, and if you're still paying attention, on VOD, that's the first time I've seen that. If you're with me and still paying attention, this video will be posted on Friday morning, which will be just after this campaign has ended. However, there should be a great big announcement today, Friday, if you're paying attention. If it hasn't gone out already, definitely look for one. I'm very excited. I got an early preview. Can't wait to talk about it. I have to wait to talk about it, but I look forward to talking about it. Okay, let's see what we got here. I want to go ahead and play our Psychers early. And this against Tau. Does he have a melee attack? He does. Bummer. So I'm going to have to lean on my psychic attacks unless I can really make sure those haymakers are going to land. This could be a really challenging match. I really like Onva in this. Just in general, Onva is a really, really powerful opponent who just punishes you no matter what attack types you're using. I'll just sneak that in there, hiding behind the taunt. Thank you very much for the shield. And as much as it sucks not to be attacking first, it is nice to be deploying second. Again, I will comment that even with the sped up PvP, and it has been a lot faster and more stable than usual, but PvP feels so much slower than the game now with the game speed modifier. Oh god, okay. Great. So we'll drop a Medicae on that one, just to go ahead and start building up our beefy attacks. Because I'm going to need to take that down sooner than later, and I'm very, very glad that this deck has target acquired in it, but I have to be careful because you don't want to play target acquired and in the same turn where your opponent puts down a taunt. So I am definitely going to have to watch for that. Oh, it's going to hurt. Oh, it hurt. Holy cow. Okay. Kind of a... Who do I put in here? We'll put this guy in here. And we'll go ahead and melee this sucker. That will supercharge our psychic. Oh, look at you. Oh, that was a bummer. Okay, so I'm definitely charging up this guy's melee a lot quicker than I want to. We'll see if I can survive that. This is a terrible matchup. Even with heavy psychers, with AZRAEL, because you're alternating attack types, you don't want to shoot the Tau unless you're going to win it. And you don't really want to hit him with melee, because Onva will make them hit back a lot harder. And Tau usually have good stats relative to their attack types, so they have a lot of hit points to... Oh, nuts. Okay. Well, that may save Njal, but probably not, because that's a lot of firepower over there. It's a bummer. All right, what do we got? He's going to shoot me. He's going to shoot me. He did it. He did the thing. And then, okay, that's still good. The good news is this guy is comfortably killable unless he drops a taunt drone, which he probably will, because that's what he should have in there. Taunt drone, coming? Nah. No. Which does give me a chance to hide Njal. And we'll continue to let Njal build up health. Now, the thing is, it is likely that he doesn't have another taunt in there, but possible that he does. At these deck points, I've seen a lot of the double taunt drone and then also the 25-point transport, which is just a huge amount of health to hide behind. So we'll see if he's got that once I kill this. Assuming, of course, that I can kill this. And my saving grace here may be that my AZRAEL himself is actually level 6. He's decently high level and quite... not all that scary. I keep mixing him up with the lion. We'll see how this goes. So his ranged attack has dropped considerably. Nope, still 203. Okay, so it's the readies that are really helping me out. Let's hit him as hard as we can. I'm going to supercharge the melee on that thing, which is not great, but it will be killable, which is great. However, I'm probably going to lose Njal here, so I have to really, really count on my target acquired next turn, so I really have to hope he doesn't drop a taunt drone. This is going to be a board wipe. I think I can pull this out, but it's real close. And he better not have anything else good in there, which he still can, because at the 250 deck points, you can fit one of those guys with quite a bit else. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. What else we got? All right, so the other taunt drone may not be in there, or he's playing it safe, or both. Probably is not expecting me to have held a target acquired this late, so that will help. Yeah, no surprise there. Everybody dead. Let's see how this goes. Beep. Of course, we got the double inspiring presence here, which is fine. Now, I should comfortably be able to kill that with Psychic, so we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, easy. So I don't charge this thing up, and then we'll see what horrible thing he drops against AZRAEL, but then in my follow-up turn, I should be able to hit him really, really hard with melee. I've got the ready value, I've got the Inspiring Presence, I've got decent base melee values, and then I will also get the bump at the beginning of the next turn if I decide to use ranged or melee. Of course, I'd prefer melee. We'll see what I got. One of the things I notice the most when cards are at this medium level is their hit points are shockingly low. So yeah, like AZRAEL being 200 hit points feels pretty low for a 40-point Warlord. Excuse me. There is water in that this time. It is not empty. Okay, and now we wait. So you just have to listen to me chatter. What do we got? Oh, ran out of time. That's not how you want to win. I wonder if he's going to finish it out, if that was a fluke, or if this is actually going to be a timeout. That would be a real bummer. Be quite the way to end the game. I've only gotten one timeout today, and I've played quite a bit. My win rate has not been good. So yeah. Yeah, he's going to time out again. Okay, well anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it after that. Well, I'll take a look at a couple other decks I've been playing with. There's one in particular I want to go ahead and highlight. Again, this video is coming out on Friday, so it's probably going to be too late to actually do any good to help anyone with this PvP campaign, but hopefully it will be helpful down the road. And he's going to time it out. That is a bummer, Spaceman. We'll see if he can kill me without even being present. Ooh. Ooh. That is a scary melee. Okay. And he's got a melee charge up if he decides to play this, but he's probably going to time out. Womp womp. Disconnect. Mom caught him. I will say this is especially challenging for me because I do really enjoy the synced PvP as a different kind of challenge, but at the same time it takes away a lot of the... That is... What a way to end it. It takes away several of the things that I really love about Warhammer Combat Cards, which I've mentioned before. Being able to step away from a game and come back to it is really nice. Not having to be there on a timer all the time is really nice. It's a much more relaxed, casual experience most of the time. So while I do appreciate being able to do the PvP campaigns, there's a thing too. As you can see, I said I've been playing a lot. I have. There's not a terrific win rate to not have completed this yet. I'm going to go ahead and play one more game because there's one deck I really want to highlight, and it is both a shout out to Mad Emperor Harry himself, and then also something that's been really effective for me after some pretty gnarly defeats. So before I jump to that, I'm going to show a couple of the other decks I've used. So I did use the Corpse Lord, just for fun. Did this, tried out the Super Heavy. I lost this, but it was really close, and it felt like a game that the other guy could be really proud of winning, which was awesome. It was an Akaran, a really interesting Psychic Melee Soup Akaran deck that I should have recorded, but I didn't at the time. But yeah, that was great. I enjoyed that. This guy got flattened by I believe it was a Darkstrider deck. Yeah, I felt like this was going to be really strong, but got just completely wrecked. Only played it the once, but Wartsnagav really, really loves being at this number of points. You can really load up the beefcakes. I had trouble with draw order, where all of these guys were pretty deep, and it was later in the game when I pulled them out, but they did have the max bonus, but then I just wasn't able to pull that game out, so worth trying. And then the mask, this was a fun one. So initially I did the mask with just a couple of the really, really high cost heavy hitters, just a small deck, and just got overwhelmed by the number of cards other players were able to pull. So I flipped it around and opted instead to do this, which is just a super salad of a bunch of cards in a similar cost range. Had to splurge on a more expensive one in the end there to fill the deck, but it's a max deck with everybody but one of these is a Psyker. So it benefits really well from the modifier for this. Has a bunch of wave clear and other stuff going on, and a lot of tankiness in the Medicae and the... this is really fun. If you get a chance to have all these cards, definitely try this one. I really especially enjoyed this one. So the Medicae Psyker, love it, love it. I didn't register before that he had a Psychic attack and was a Psyker. Cool to have him. So I just pulled him from a pack yesterday, so very excited to have him here. Then, of course, Old Fabulous, then that Inspiring Presence duo, and then the Area Effect. Like, this is really a good deck, and was much more effective than my thinner one, my smaller one with the heavier hitters. So I really liked that. Rakarth. I haven't done Rakarth yet. Let me actually talk about, well, I already talked about it. Okay. I also did an Illic Nightspear deck that I enjoyed a lot. Did horribly because I went up against a Shaz-O deck that just wore me down. But this has been good too. This is actually a slightly different variant that was a little bit better. Definitely has a lot more barrage and is spread out more. I have more cards, which I found that you need more bodies in the game to really excel in this modifier. So that was a thing. I got a little cheeky here. I'll show this one. I think this is still the deck I used. Yeah. So just to say it, in general, I've kind of gone into this assuming that super heavies, especially low to medium level super heavies, are not going to really have a dramatic impact on the game. Like, they're not necessarily going to be enough more efficient than other cards in a similar cost band to actually impact the ladder. And so far, that's really been true. I have found they're cool and interesting things to play. They are very powerful, but there's a lot of counterplay, and they can be taken down. They're not that much more significantly durable, especially against like big game hunter and target acquired, than their other things, like 2 55-point cards would be for this. But this one, specifically in a Canoness deck, has been the exception. This thing is a monstrosity. You get Furious Charge plus Canoness extra attacks. This sucker really, really, really gets the value out of those 460 hit points and a bunch of attacks. Especially, of course, at level 6, but it has been true at level 3 as well. So watch out for that one. The others have been good. They've all had some impact here and there, but that one has definitely been a thing. And the runner-up, we'll see if I actually have it in this deck. No, I don't. Got it in my... Let's pull this out of here real quick. And almost done. And I did find that, yeah, okay. I did find that particularly true that they don't have a huge impact on the game in this PvP modifier because human players are particularly good at playing around them. But then also you can pack so many like 30 to 50 point cards in 250 that they get overwhelmed. So, but this is a close second to being as impactful as the one I just showed. So there's the scary, scary knight with the heavy melee and Furious Charge, and then there's this thing with Fear and Barrage is real nasty. But it's got Fear, and so it has relatively low hit points for the cost. So if it dies, it leaves a great big hole in your deck, and then you are in trouble. It's obviously an impactful card, but it's definitely one that was less impactful than I expected. So there's that. I believe those are the main decks I wanted to show, but the big one I want to highlight that I will play a game with is going to be Artemis. Now, a Psychic Artemis is one of the things that Harry, Mad Emperor, said was one of the most powerful decks he's ever built that he was really proud of. This is not his deck. This is a variant that I built myself. Just kind of playing around with the concept of a Psychic Artemis, even point spread out, that has a bunch of utility in it that can do a lot of different things. Similar to what Harry had done, but yeah. Up against Skulltaker. I love Skulltaker, but this is a good matchup, especially a thin Skulltaker deck. You definitely did not go all out with the cards, so it means there are going to be some in there with a lot of hit points that will be chewed up by Artemis. And of course, a Psychic deck is particularly good in this modifier just because Psychers are extremely powerful, and they usually are costed a little bit conservatively, so they're more expensive than their attack values are, so being able to buff their attack values is a really nice perk. Playing that guy first, you should always check when you're deploying if you are playing against Artemis. You don't want to play your high hit point cards first against Artemis. I fail to do that all the time because he's the only warlord where you actually care. All of the others don't. He's the only hit him twice. He's the only warlord who cares about the durability of the cards that you play. It is always risky to play your heavy hitters early because that does encourage things like target acquired and such. But yeah, definitely be careful with that. Because he just lost almost half of the hit points on the... Ooh, Gargos el Sabueso. Wait. Señor de los Devorados de... Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Señor Lord? Lord of the World Eaters? Devourers of the Worlds. That is, yeah, Devourers of the Worlds, right? On a Juggernaut. I love it. Nice. Ooh, that hurt. But this is already really favoring me. We're not going to do that. We'll do that. We'll play it safe. And just a couple things about this. So Tigurius just takes forever to bring down with his shields, even though he doesn't have... He's got 3 shields in this modifier. Pretty outside the power curve, even for the cost, so he has a very long time to build up his psychic attack. He doesn't have Psionic Blast, the area effect thing, so he's still vulnerable to things like Akaran, or even an Artemis Mirror. Love putting this guy in here as a 40 point. He's a really good melee counterattacker, and if you do swing to a melee attack type, he's very effective. But yeah, one of the things I wanted to make sure to show off with this deck is that it is particularly good against Call, because Belisarius Call decks have low card count, and it can be really impactful when you start landing those Artemis bonus damage that it hits against some of those tanks. Now, it will struggle a little bit because it's pretty low on hit points, and so we'll probably get chainsawed to pieces. I've only played a couple games against Call with this, and again, my win rate has not been exceptional, but it's a thing to look out for. And I'd love to see this guy. That's a great one. Fear my brain bullets. And yes, again, like I said, this will be my last game. I'll make a quick closing note, and then we'll call it. But yeah, those are the 2 decks I wanted to highlight. AZRAEL because I hadn't shown it before, and then Artemis because he's one of the really powerful picks in this super effective piece. And, ooh, Skull Taker got me. But y'all will make up the difference. So I've got the 2 Psionic Blast Psychers in here, both of whom are pretty good in melee. I've got 2 Shielded Psychers in here as well. Yeah, why not? Which does give me some really, really powerful pieces to clear lanes, to do extra damage, and the combination of Artemis's ability plus Psionic Blast puts a ton of pressure on the opponent's board, just constantly chipping it away, even before you're actually attacking. And then you've got a variety of attack types with melee, ranged, and psychic. Mostly psychic and melee, but a little bit of ranged in there too. And then, of course, Artemis himself, if you have a close game, Artemis's target acquired against an opposing warlord can really clinch some of those tight games. We'll see how this goes. Even if he gets a wipe, he is pretty much hosed, because then it's Artemis with Deadshot. But this guy, I've definitely seen this guy a couple times. Vastor the Archifane. Njal lives. And I probably won't get him this turn. Actually, that was kind of a mistake. We'll see. We'll see how hard he can hit me. And I'm pretty sure I've got this, but playing Artemis that early, I could have played my other bodyguard. Ooh, yeah. We'll see. He doesn't have a boost. Yeah, I got him. He's probably going to go melee. The Honorable Joust, we'll see, but maybe not. But he's going to die no matter what attack type he uses, so I would probably go melee myself. But we'll see. Spiritmonger, well fought. Mad props for running. Skull Taker. I love Skull Taker. He's just such a fun warlord. And he's just going to run out the clock. That is okay, there you go. Well done, sir. Until next time. And that's it. Again, yeah, watch the news. Watch the Warhammer Combat Card webs. This should be a pretty exciting day. I am very excited about it. Hopefully you had fun in the PvP campaign, assuming that I'm doing the math right, that that's over. Yeah, watch the news. And playing Artemis is a minor spoiler for what's coming. That should make sense when you see it. Good luck, have fun, we'll talk soon.